Yeah, but maybe that's part of the part of an incentive for King of Kings to take their carry here, just so that you can maybe keep DogChamp guessing that little bit more with regards to the Death Prophet's position. And it appears to be something King of Kings are at least considering, bearing in mind how much time that they're taking here, down to 30 seconds. So not 100% sure the way that they want to play this one out. And, well, I mean, I don't know. If you take your carry here, then DogChamp will be able to pick their carry, knowing really fully what it's going to be having to compete directly against. But depending on what King of Kings take, I don't really think you care quite as much about that.
Honestly, I'd love if they picked LD. I don't think they will in
Oh.
DK?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
I mean, that is kind of a throwback for Mini a little bit, but the
I
problem with the
mean,
DK is your damage kind of comes along way, way later down the line.
well, and bizarrely enough, it is the almost de facto counter versus the Queen of Pain. At least whenever Queen of Pains were almost bound to go for the 2-1-2 build, the honestly, the problem I have is just what happens when the Queen of Pain decides to just max her Scream of Pain instead and just decides to ignore you. I would have loved if they picked Wraith King right there, because not only are you taking away from DogChamp's hero pool, but you're also just kind of leaving yourself open to that flexibility that we all know that last pick has. So sure, DK, if you hit the Dragon Tail onto the Queen of Pain, that's still a great lockdown, a great tool for you to play with, but I'm just worried that Ray now has the ability to completely ignore the DK and then make space elsewhere, because the problem that will become in this game is you're always going to have the creep wave on the DK's tower. DK is constantly going to struggle to push out that wave, and sure, whenever the Queen of Pain shows up somewhere else on the map, the DK ulties, your mid tower takes a little bit of damage there, but that's where if DogChamp succeed in their lanes, there's a very easy swap out they can make. They put the Sand King mid, they send the Queen of Pain off to rotate with their levels, and then where's the hole that King of Kings play in? They really are just going to be bound to their really strong push, and they do have a very strong push with both the Exorcism and the Elder Dragon form. I'm just worried that if DogChamp are really clean with their rotations, they could run their opponents around the map, and DK Death Prophet, not known for their mobility. They're very setup oriented. They're going to be stuck in the lane that they push, and they're very hard committal. Once they're there, they don't really have a good way to leave.
Yeah, and I think maybe this puts the Grimstroke pick into a little bit more context as well, because you talked about the DK in the past and in theory being sort of your answer to the Queen of Pain. If you've got the Grimstroke, then maybe all of a sudden that Soulbind can set up. You can get a double Dragon Tail stun from the DK at range in his Elder Dragon form, and that is a powerful combo, but that's assuming that you can land it with consistency. So if King of Kings can pull off that kind of synergy, then by all means, I think it can work. You can stun up multiple heroes, and DogChamp are not durable in the slightest compared to King of Kings, who have much more tankiness on their side. But now all of a sudden, the positioning of your Tusk, your Grimstroke, your DK, it really does have to be almost perfect to make those combos work every time.
Yeah, and I am racking my brain here because Stonebank, he sees its lane. It's Tusk Death Prophet. Pretty annoying, albeit. And, well, okay. That's another draw. That's another lane that they just kind of don't do poorly in, don't do great in, but that's the safest pick you can probably go for in Dota right now. Into Grimstroke, a little bit interesting, just because, of course, if that Ags is ever on the table, well, the rest of DogChamp better start running, but I think that's also where really all of the A-listers are kind of taken out already for King of Kings, so sure, you swipe away the Medusa, and it does mean that King of Kings, at least damage-wise, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, and yeah, Ursa. Plain and simple, builds Diffu, stacks up onto the Medusa. We've got a slugfest in for us this time around, because as soon as this game slows down, I want to say DogChamp are just going to be at a severe advantage. King of Kings, they've got to keep the pedal to the metal here. Otherwise, I really think they're going to slow down hard. And the big question, of course, being whether or not this DK can really get off to a good start. It all becomes about the blink or the Midas timing, depending on what he goes for. I hope it's a blink, but does he have damage to back him up? I feel like a lot of it's going to be coming from Dunha, and if he ever dies at the beginning of the fight, as we sometimes see that Death Prophet just get immediately blown up, I've got questions for King of Kings lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's it is so much about the pace for them. If they keep the pace where they need it to be, then okay. You know, you see the potential in the lineup, right? They've got Nursa. I talked about that sort of soulbind double stun play that could potentially happen, but there really can't be a lot of downtime, or maybe not downtime, but wasted time from King of Kings. Everything has to be purposeful, and everything has to, for the most part, be effective. You can't afford too many whiffs here either, so the need to execute just about every time is really going to be big for them. But if they do it, if they pull it off, DogChamp could be on the back foot.
No, definitely. I'm just hard pressed. It's a very interesting way that they decided to draft here, but okay, let's see it. I'm excited. We get to see a DK resurrected hero, but more importantly, we get to see Benny Ursa. And Benny, he's the type of player that just tries to claw his team out of whatever position he's in. So seeing him on a more active hero, he's going to need to be everywhere. He's the type of guy who's going to show up mid and then somehow get a kill on the Queen of Pain at the end of the day. But again, they got to pull it off.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, Benny on Ursa, always sort of fun to check out as we do get ourselves started with game number 2. Just as a reminder, both of these teams head into the lower bracket, so they know what their fate is going to be. It's just a matter of which of the higher seeds select them. But playing for pride, playing for momentum perhaps, and practice's sake, and well, we'll see who can walk away with the victory here. If King of Kings can get the 1-1 draw, or if DogChamp are going to get their first 2-0 sweep of the entire group stage as we do get things started.
No, and really, 5-man smoke up. I've never seen something more SA. And actually, Mini? Okay, he's got items coming out. I was going to say, 0 items on the DK. That's a new strat for me. But looks like that's not going to be the case. But we'll have to see what Ray goes for. In the past, it's been 50-50. Of course, players that come to mind are like Nisha, who randomly get DK and then suddenly they're just owning their opponents here. And there is kind of that room for movement in King of Kings. But typically when you talk about the Dragon Knight, it's never what he can provide. It's always what he can provide for his teammates. And sure, Hannes can definitely come mid. I just don't know how much burst they can really kind of set up together. I feel like if we're ever going to see this Queen of Pain die early, it's going to need to be a rotation from both Surem and Hannes as they battle here for the bottom rune.
Little bit of dancing going on as Luki Burrow strikes in. The arrow's there to follow. Benny's going to get stunned up, but they need a little bit more damage. Trying to track him down. Benny pops the fairy fire, but the final right click from Yaren just goes flying over everyone's heads. Benny will fall. Luki, he'll be traded out, but first blood going over to DogChamp. And, well, okay. First blood, but they give up 2 in exchange, as Danha's able to get himself a second kill in the engagement, taking down the Bane.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Benny only went out to get any XP there, because, of course, all of his teammates were too busy killing everyone else. The rest of the King and Kings, though, they're happy. They're almost halfway to level 2.
Yeah, so it's a nice little bit of experience for them. So you always have that advantage, and that Bane, having died... What? Did he... I think he might have TP'd mid or something, because his TP's on cooldown, and he was still walking through the jungle. That's a bit of a funky one, but yeah, he's here now. Really didn't miss out on too much. As soon as he gets in, Hane's going to say what's up and give him a punch to the face or 2 with that tag team, but Hane doesn't really care quite as much about damage on the Bloody 9. He's looking for the pull into... Well, I was going to say the block, but he's actually going to look more for, yeah, that secondary block as opposed to the closer camp. So, pulls it off, gets the creep wave back under the tower, should hit level 2 off the back of this as he let the ranged one go.
No, it's not the cleanest from Hane, but that is very clean. He's going to chop off the ranged creep here, because really his creeps aren't too healthy, nor will they stay too healthy. But at the same time, because B9 went for the Brain Sap there to fight at the rune, usually Bane is the hero that shuts down this play just right off the bat because of the Nightmare, but having the Brain Sap means that, sure, he can go for it. Again, wasn't the prettiest from Hane, but is also not going to matter too much. Stonebank, however, did a really good job of just keeping the creep wave back as far as possible, didn't let the creep equilibrium get out of the way. But now, we'll have to see. Benny's chilling though bottom. We're gonna have to see. He needs level 3, then we can see them get really aggressive on the Luki. Before then though, he should be a-okay.
Don't think there's going to be too much happening there. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, well, this is the only downside of having the DK back in. His lane is boring, ET. His job is to stand here, right? Get the Dragon's Blood, be tanky, and just be immovable from that position. And Ray, yeah, he's going to go for the Scream of Pain. The Shadow Strike build is not going to do him much good here against the Dragon Knight.
No, there's just simply never enough damage. The Dragon Blood is just a little bit too effective, especially if Mini is doing what his build is, just getting the Soul Ring, not even playing with Bottle or Runes, which does forfeit a lot of that control over to Ray, but you're also Queen of Pain, right? You've got the Blink. You're always going to have that Rune advantage, so there's not really much that the DK can do. Really more reliant on his supports to help him out than anything, but yeah, DK... it's boring. He gets treads, he gets a Blink Dagger, and then he wins or loses the game pretty much quickly after that.
So, middle lane, not exactly exciting stuff there. If you're looking for early fighting, if you're a fan of farming, well, there you go. There's your lane to watch, but we will turn the camera elsewhere. But up in the top lane, I mean, Stonebank's gonna kind of be in a similar position. He's not really looking for a lot of action. We'll see whether or not he gets a choice in the matter, because the Tusk sort of embodies that early aggression in the laning stage, but you need opportunities, as I will miss the kill down bot. Sarem taking down Luki and Yaren well behind the tower, but well, they're able to catch their opponent by surprise. Benny is so far away, there's no way he could have helped out there, so that's going to tie up the kill count. Is up in the top lane, Bloody 9. He gets hit up, but Hane doesn't actually get him trapped in the shards as well as they would have liked. Dunha, though, says that doesn't matter. Level 2 Crypt Swarm is going to have the damage and the range, and B9 still taken down.
Yeah, and ooh, Stonebank trying for the big money play, tried to bounce it onto the Tusk, but Dunha is also taking a lot of damage here. Got the Fairy Fire, so he's going to be okay, and does get salved up from his buddy, but man, pretty close here, and Hana's okay. He's looking to trade out, but they saw his mana. They know. Oh, wow. Stonebank let himself get way too low.
That is, yeah, honest-to-God mistake from Stonebank. As you said, just wanted to go all in for that play. And listen, if that snake bounces over to Hane and you get the kill, you look like an absolute genius. But as it stands, the consequences of risking that play are going to kind of come back to haunt him. So King of Kings get a very valuable kill in the early stages. Anything you can do to slow that Medusa down is going to be big. So, well, nicely done. 4-2 now advantage for King of Kings, at least in terms of the kill count. And last hit-wise, honestly, they're not doing too shabby either. You look at Benny sitting up near the top, only behind his own teammate in that DK mid.
Yeah, just very stable right now, and we'll see now that Sarem has all three of his abilities. Could definitely see some more aggression placed onto the Sand King, but it's also very expensive to go on the SK. You take a lot of damage sitting in the Sandstorm. He burrow strikes and gets away, then it all comes at a pretty hefty cost, not to mention the investment of sentries. So going for him doesn't really feel the greatest at all times. At the same time, though, Luki is not going for a Ring of Health. He's green out with his items. If you can get an incredibly early Blink Dagger, that'd be sick. Just give the Queen of Pain another player to play with, as it looks like everybody's trying to shift a little bit over here to get in place for the 6-minute rune, but we'll have to see. More important for the Queen of Pain than Mini. Mini could really care less, but if you get a nice DD or possibly an Arcane rune, Ray would be extremely happy with that.
Just trying to sort of maintain that position, see what happens. But you see Hane moving into position. Rune will spawn to the south, but it is a valuable one. The Arcane gonna be there, so Ray Lalisa would very much like that. In the meantime, Luki getting himself into a little bit of trouble alone down bot. Benny tries to push it onto him, but that is kind of the issue for the Ursa in the early stages. You use the Earth Shock, that's all the movement that you really have. So as long as Luki holds his burrow, he should be okay. As Stonebank gets a kill up top, Dunha too far forward, didn't see the rotation in. B9 and Yaren combining forces, getting themselves that arrow combo, and Stonebank gets a little bit of revenge for that earlier death.
Yeah, and I really like that play from Yaren, just knowing that, okay, Luki, he's getting sacked a little bit here. He's going to be fine, though. I'm going to TP top. He had the Nightmare setup from B9, and that's a massive kill. The more you slow down Dunha, it's going to come into play, but in this early and even in the mid game, that Exorcism is just all the damage. And, well, Sarem is just a little bit too smart for you guys on the mid play. And
now, B9's got to be a little bit careful. There's going to be the Ink Spell thrown out. Mini wants to charge forward. And now the Sonic Wave deployed. Now Mini may have gone too far forward. He'll still get the B9 kill, but he'll be taken down in exchange. Not as clean as I think DogChamp wanted, but they do find that kill in the end.
Well, definitely not clean. And hey, that's an Arcanian Sonic Wave, so it's going to be back up sooner than later. But really, I feel like they have wanted to play more on Ray than they've been getting the opportunity to recently. And now that he's level 7, well, this mid wave is always going to be pushed in. Sure, that's a great source for experience, but his game is just going to continue to accelerate while they're setting up again on Dunha. And do they have the damage? That's a nice suck. He's going to be stunned for quite a while here, but let's see it. Yep.
A little bit more. There it is. Stonebank gets the final right click in, and yeah, same duo, same combo, still works. It's Bane Mirana. It's about as simple as it gets. We're able to find the kill. Hane, okay, nice D word, but now he's got to be careful. There's that arrow, but that is the lowest possible stun as he takes it right to the back, and this duo, they made their move, right? They went top, they got done how. You can kind of let Hane go there and still be feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, and this is where, in very similar fashion to the first game, the longer they can keep this top tier 1 tower and keep Stonebank centralized around it, then the longer the laning stage goes, then the more slowly the map breaks down, and that only favors the Medusa. The more towers that the Medusa can stand in front of, the harder it is to ever go for that dive. And Stonebank, well, he's ventured a little bit far out here. He's also looking for a nice rotation, but yeah, oh no.
That is big. Tumbler's Toy is all that takes. Mini gets into range, they get the first stun, they get the silence, they then get the ink swell. Ray Lalisa, I mean, I'm almost wanting to say he didn't show enough respect there to Mini, but who would have thought that a Tumbler's Toy would really be enough to get that fight going?
Oh, and now, well, there is the Medusa to nuke out the wave, so Mini's going to take some tower shots here, but with the Quap gone, well, there you go. And now they're overloaded on DogChamp. They're getting played on top and mid. They have to make a choose. They have to decide which fight they show up to.
Oh, this is sad. Bloody Nine is literally trapped in the tree line. Hane is just standing, not even attacking. May wish he'd have gone for that kill a little bit faster now with Ray Lalisa arriving, but Hane might still make it out. The tower is not going to be able to take him down. He'll actually turn around looking for the tag team into the shards, and Ray can't blink away in time. Dunha gets the kill. Luki, can he get revenge? He's already used most of his spells, but I think the right click should be enough. And they do get it done. The problem is that's a 3-for-2 trade overall. They at least get the deny on the tier 1 tower, but that whole thing just gets a little bit awkward. And as you said, sort of overloaded. They didn't have the numbers until later. It does still get them kills, but it's not there for the actual defense. As very strange play mid. They try to push in, but with the Tusk coming in, they have to back off.
Yeah, can't afford to stick around, but they really set themselves up very nicely for a continued push onto the mid tower if they need to. They still have Exorcism if they want to get Dunha involved, even though I can definitely imagine him just staying in his own lane. But the exact opposite of what DogChamp had really been hoping for, the tower goes down remarkably early in the offlane, so now Stonebank has to set up shop somewhere else, and with the mid tower as low as it is, it's that breakdown that you're very concerned of with this type of lineup, especially looking over at Benny and his Ursa. Once he has this Diffusal Blade, that's the type of hero where the towers stop him. That's where the aggression ceases, but with them off the table so soon, now Benny can make a rotation. He can start to kick out this Medusa, and it's that bullying that can really come back to bite him, and where Stonebank needs to wait for later timings. He does have a nice Ancient stack to farm, though.
Going to work in that east side jungle. In the meantime, B9 and Yaren looking to smoke up here. Fiend's Grip's available, so they are basically going to be able to guarantee that arrow connection. And I think they might have the damage to find a pick, maybe onto a support. That's 3 points up in the Starstorm for the nuke damage, so it's just a matter of who they can find and who they can find by themselves. Surem's the closest target, and you'd think if they get onto him, they could find the kill, but Mini is not that far away. He has the Tumbler's Toy and the Elder Dragon form, so might want to be a little bit careful. Do some extra scouting before they push in, just in case Surem has more backup than they anticipate.
Yeah, they don't want to go too early. If they do, well, then this fight could get pretty ugly pretty quickly. But also, such defensive vision from Surem this early on. He really is just trying to gauge, specifically the Bane, trying to set up with the Nightmare. He knows that if he has good positioning, well, there's no chance that they die in. Well, look at that. Place the ward beforehand. Yep. Everything is ruined now. Play gets scouted. It's only the two of them, but they even commit the Moonlight Shadow in.
They're gonna go in?
This is a little greedy.
Wow.
Well.
Yaren, come on, man. I guess he didn't really realize how many people were there. Tries to just go for the D ward, but you gotta know that they saw you the whole time. But up in the top lane, okay. Bloody Nine still makes the move. His teammate may have died, but he TP's top, and with the Fiend's Grip in there, they've got that. They've got the Epi, and that's enough to take Dunha out as they burn through the Death Prophet. The problem is, now, again, you rotated that many heroes, it leaves the middle lane unprotected, and the tier 1 tower gets taken out as Mini, well, I was going to say uses the last few moments of his Elder Dragon form. It's still got about a third of its duration, so quick and easy tower for the side of King of Kings. That's honestly probably worth the Death Prophet being taken down in exchange for map control.
Yeah, and look at this. They're baiting the top Arcane Rune. Unfortunately, yeah, it's a pretty smart scan from DogChamp, and Mini will just take it instead. But this is your Blink Dagger, and how many times have we seen a hero die farming that large camp, but instead they're going to dive in towards the Medusa area, which I don't honestly agree with. Maybe if you catch him farming a stack, you have enough damage, but that's where we could find King of Kings struggling a little bit to get these kills. But okay, a Bane, that's fruit.
Be able to get that kill. That's a nice one. They see the courier flying over their heads, and I mean, obviously it's flying towards the Bane, so follow the courier, get yourself a free kill. That's still a 3-man smoke for a Bane, which is not what you wanted, but at least it was a kill that they take without any real consequences. But now the consequences may come out. Srem's going to get hit up. Stonebank pops the ult, trying to force the fight. Okay. They don't quite get the cores in there, but that's 2 support kills for... I mean, I guess they have to use the cooldown on your Stone Gaze, but that is not really a massive cooldown, and Luki's still going. They're going to be able to get the burrow into the arrow, in the back of Dunha, into the Sonic Wave. They find that kill. Benny and Mini, though, joining the fight. Do they have enough lockdown for Ray? Yes, they do. They will find that immediate trade-off. They would love even more, though. Mini is going to get hit up by the Nightmare, however, and Benny would rather not remove that from his teammate, even if it means they can't chase any further.
Yeah, well, right there, that's Pop's rule. You blink in, you die, and, well, that's what happened. He blinked in, tried to get the damage, did hit the Sonic Wave, and they do get the kill on the Dune Hub, but it's just where Benny's a little bit too smart, and, well, as soon as they get a pick over on the Roche side, they might need to smoke up, and yeah, they will. They still have the Blink Epi from Luki, but Mini just needs to be the stopper here. If he can halt the Sand King from getting into the pit, I don't know if that's what they wanted.
Oh, the arrow hit a creep. That is unfortunate. If Yarn can get that follow-up stun, I think they have the damage to kill Mini. Instead, they take down the Satyr. And now they've got to run. Benny got the Aegis. Mini survived, and Luki didn't get the backup he thought he was going to get. Not just the arrow, but heroes. Once they realize that that play gets broken up, just kind of back away, and the Sand King doesn't have that luxury. He burrow struck in.
Yeah, and with that being on the table now, well, Benny has a 13-minute Aegis. He can now completely kick out the Medusa. Stonebank needs to be really tight here, and well, they'll take B9 again. They still want more. They don't want to just let Yarn, especially, just escape. But I think DogChamp, time to cut their losses, time to push in these side lanes. Ray's already working on his, but unfortunately, a very different Ray this game than his Storm Spirit. He's still working on his Orchid timing, and they're still looking for the fight mid, and well, they see him in the wave, and are they really going to dive him like this? This feels a little bit rushed.
They did get the silence down onto a couple. The Snowball's going to come in as well. They're trying to burn through the Mana Shield, doing a pretty solid job of it. Stonebank pops the ult, but it's way too late. Will still be taken down. They'll trade out for Sarem, but that is not much of a trade. Bloody Nine now TP's in case there's another go, but if you're King of Kings, you got what you wanted. I don't really think there's another reason to dive tier 2.
No, it's just the overwhelming damage from Exorcism. It's why this hero is so popular, and if they don't get the initial burst onto Dunha, and he could have maybe gone for the Epi, maybe, but that's whiffed a little bit, but saved.
Snowball was not there to save Mini. Hane's now going to die as well, and okay, Bloody Nine, that's a big move. Nightmare on one, Fiend's Grip on the other. Going to kind of pull it back a little bit there as DogChamp will salvage something. Their tier 2 was protected, and they'll get a couple of kills. Still unfortunate for the Medusa to be lost, but the second Stonebank's back up. He's going right back into the jungle to continue farming.
Ooh, and
Hold
they're
on.
looking for Doonha.
The burrow. Here comes the arrow. That's a little mistimed and a little off the mark. Lukey, really? No. Okay, yes. I was really wondering if he was going to commit for that, because he didn't have burrow or blink. So, little bit off the mark. Maybe waited, or did not wait long enough, because the arrow, I mean, they really only needed a little bit more time. His middle lane, Mini, he's going to jump in. They've caught out Ray. They get the stun. 2 stuns, actually, into the silence. And that sentry just gives them enough range on the detection to keep the fight going. And Ray really can't afford too many deaths right now. He did finish off that Orchid, but the BKB has really just been started.
Yeah, and really thinking about it as Lukey and Doonha see face to face for a second there. He's trying to make plays. That was really initially began because Yaren wanted to reestablish himself on the map, but Mini.
Got the Inkswell stun. That's a nice nightmare. I'm just not sure it's going to be enough. The arrow, though, comes in, but there's going to be the Soulbind into another double silence. Lukey taken down, B9 falling as well. So they survive one attempt, but then the secondary one just breaks them down.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's one of the many cases with that Soulbind where you can't do anything. If you're that SK, you're just kind of stuck there waiting, very sad, and, well, because they missed kind of their first go there, it just doesn't end up mattering. And, well, it's not buildings, right? We're still seeing them very successfully defending their Tier 2 tower mid, and it is a very important Tier 2 tower, but we still need to see, I think, more from both the cores. I think Ray and Lukey have these spells, they have their ultimates, they just have been struggling to find the right opportunities to use them, and that's where the more tanky lineup on King of Kings is starting to walk away a little bit, especially as they get these durability items. Okay, minute left on Aegis with a sleep, but Yaren doesn't want to arrow. They want to wait, but they got Regon on.
Lukey's going to get hit up pretty heavily. They don't finish him off, though, and Mini actually stepped back into the Stone Gaze. Problem is, there's no one to really do much about that. Now Dunha, he's popped the ult. They're just going to go in. Benny pushing forward with the Euroshock. Mini blinks forward to get the stun down onto the Medusa. Nice Sonic Wave from Ray Lisa, though, trying to create some separation, but the Snowball is still going to be there. They're directly in onto Stonebank. Nightmare not going to be enough. Stonebank dead, B9 dead. The rest of DogChamp desperately trying to retreat. Benny, though, has the cutoff angle, so Ray's got to blink past him, and, well, that was not nearly as complicated as I was making it out to be. He just gets right past into the base, but that was a moment DogChamp were trying to make something happen, and it's kind of strange. They get that Nightmare onto the Ursa, and it's almost like the realization didn't hit them until they actually had the Nightmare down. They think, oh, hold on. He still has Aegis. We really can't do this.
Yeah, and, well, everything about this Tier 2 kind of thrown out the window. They do have Glyph. They should Glyph it. They really can't afford to give this up. They still have Epicenter as well. But Lukey needs to connect with the rest of the team. Has to be careful with the route.
Oh.
And nope, that's a little bit rough. But Doonha should die here. Yeah, just way too much.
Well, they'll at least get one, but they were hoping for a bigger fight. Ray, though, okay, just don't outrun your teammates too much. Cause, yeah, here comes this play. Soulbind into Snowball. Not actually going to hit, but the stun certainly will from the Dragon Knight into the Inkswell. And, well, you don't want to overextend for that exact reason. You can dodge out 1 or 2 of those stuns, but King of Kings, they're really layering their lockdown pretty much perfectly. If you dodge 1 attempt, then we've got 2 or 3 more to throw at you, and Ray Lisa at this point, he still just needs that BKB.
Yeah, and it's a really nice save from Hanas as well. I don't think they were expecting just to immediately get turned and soulbound, but hey, it's the reaction time of King of Kings. You've got to be a little bit more careful here. Not to mention, Stonebank was not involved in that at all. I really think that Ray was ready to just kill Surem with his right clicks alone, just not thinking that the Tusk would have anything to kind of put out onto him. But now, well, you got this awkward situation. Mid tower's gone. Now your triangle is more difficult to play in. That's where Benny's been just kind of stealing the Medusa's farm now. And I think waiting for items is the new solution. And, oh, this ward scouted Stonebank. This is going to be a little bit hectic if they find him, and they're going to see him again with the flash.
Well, they're going after it. Stonebank, I don't think he realizes he's been spotted. He's got a TP, but if he goes now, it's going to be too late. He'll pop the Manta at least. That might make life difficult, but they still know he's in there. Snowball, waiting for as long as possible. The Stone Gaze will now end, and Stonebank needs help, but there's just no one here to help him. Yaren tried, but Benny's there to cut him off. The support is gone, and this Medusa's just straight dead.
Yep, and that's your stake. That's the guy you have to defend, but just what a brutal ward, especially gauging that he's going to have to play on this bottom side, and especially these two camps, because you're taking away his triangle already. He's got to farm somewhere, so might as well cut him off, but it's just perfect from King of Kings, and nobody's dying again, and most importantly, the supports are surviving through it all. Surem and Hannes have so many levels compared to their opponents here, who are again struggling to find plays with the more active members here. We just haven't seen all of their spells just dumped on a single target, and it just means that with so many plays few and far between, King of Kings, just as the team that made the last good play, have this inherent advantage. And even though they don't have an Aegis on Benny, losing these towers at this rate, it's not a very good look, and we'll see the mercy of Roshan in a second here, but the sooner the better for King of Kings. And it'll be the second fastest timer, so that's a little bit rough for DogChamp. It might hit before Stonebank finishes his Scotty, and that's a really rough timing to deal with.
Yeah, there's just no way he can get that up in the next minute, but maybe King of Kings will be a little bit slow to check that out. They are operating on the opposing side of the map right now, so they're getting towers, that's for sure, but there's no one to immediately scout out Roshan. But at this point, they take the tier 2, and they're starting to just kind of march their way back onto their own side. Meanwhile, for DogChamp, well, what are we getting from anyone who is not on the Medusa? We've repeatedly mentioned that Ray Lalisa needs this BKB. He's got something flying out to him right now. No, yeah, that's the full BKB there. Okay. So it is on its way. That is going to be big for this Queen of Pain, because Ray, he's just been constantly getting hit up. That combo, Dragon Tail, Silence, Inkswell, in varying orders, it's been enough to take him down, as Luki also going to get taken down, trying to operate in the west side jungle, but King of Kings are able to snipe him out, and the rest of DogChamp have to clear out of the area. Yaren TP's out, and they should be fine, but they just keep giving up those little pickoffs like that that are allowing King of Kings to build up this lead even further.
Oh, and let's see, this could be huge on Benny.
It's going to be the Fiend's Grip. Sonic Wave out as well, and they've got the kill. They really needed that one. Able to finally combine forces, so there's your pick play, and that's actually even more fantastic, because now this Roche respawn, you don't really have to worry about it right now. You can't Roche without the Ursa. I mean, I guess technically you could try, but not a good idea for King of Kings. So you have bought a lot more time for yourself. Now DogChamp are in a better position to contest that when it does come down to the Roche fight.
Wait, the Buddy 9?
Okay.
Okay, it worked.
I don't think it should have, but it did.
The most casual, just right-click onto a courier where you're on the opposite side of the map with the mid-tier 1 still alive, you know? Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works, but really, I don't know what Benny's doing, but what is Ray doing?
Well, he bought the BKB. It doesn't do much good unless you use it. There we go. He's out, but not really sure what he was trying to do there. There wasn't really any kill potential. He just puts himself in a horrible position, and now he's got to take a trip back. He used all the bottle charges he had available, and well, I said before that, you know, maybe they bought themselves enough time now to contest Roshan, but the Ursa's back up, and because Ray Lalisa had to back away, they're not in a great position to contest it. With the Ursa coming in, they might just finish this before anyone can come to stop them.
Yeah, and without BKB, I don't think they're going to risk it again. They're going to play around that strength, so okay, another Aegis over to Benny. Doesn't really have that same threat of him getting picked off anymore. Gets the Ag Shard. It's exactly what you wanted the Ursa. And okay, arrow mid.
Able to hit up Surem. That's a nice start, but now they need to be wary of the return play. Yeah, Bloody 9 going to get taken down. Luki on the run. The Snowball is not actually going to catch up to him entirely, but the rest of the fight still going down near the river. They've burned through the Aegis on that Ursa, but again, got to be careful of their positioning. Stonebank's kind of alone here. His teammates are backing off, so now the Snowball in. He's going to hit onto that Dusa. Yaren's going to try to get into position. Luki as well, but with Mini popping the BKB, they want to keep the fight going. But now comes Ray into the fight. Sonic Wave deployed, but Stonebank is still dropping. Luki going for the epicenter. They'll take Benny down. But now Ray's got to carry the rest of this fight. They're getting onto Mini. Very tanky on this Dragon Knight, but not very fast. As Luki blinks in, gets the burrow, and they're going to be able to swing it. That is a huge win for DogChamp. It got dicey, and Stonebank does die, but it took them so long on the King of Kings side to actually break through that Medusa that heroes that you kind of thought were out of the fight initially were able to rejoin and swing that in DogChamp's favor.
Yeah, and I really think that even though it would have been great from Hannes if he was able to finish off the kill onto the Sand King, not being there to initially control the Queen of Pain, to control the Medusa, just ended up kind of biting them because they really ran out of spells. Not to mention, DogChamp somehow baited them into the perfect fight where Dunha doesn't have Exorcism. It was already committed. He was really just throwing out the Spirit Siphons and the Silences, which is definitely potent, but at the same time, you ran out of control. This was all before you had the Ags finished on the Ursa as well, so he doesn't have his defensive item. It felt like definitely a messy engagement for King of Kings to try. And I think DogChamp, despite losing Stonebank, are going to be very happy because, again, it's the XP that swings mainly. You get all this farming time on your supports, on your cores. Stonebank, again, the only one who didn't get that farming time is still got a few levels there from just the off lane, just the Death Prophet dying. And, well, as he builds up, this game just continues to get better for him. We just need to see more time and more space built because, well, eventually... hey, that's your Aegis gone. King of Kings don't have a clean objective to play for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part of that, is that DogChamp were able to take that teamfight win, considering that King of Kings had 2 lives to work with on their Ursa. So it is incredibly impressive. As you mentioned, though, that was before the Ursa had the Aghanim Scepter, so now all of a sudden catching him out is going to get quite a bit harder. Speaking of getting caught out, though, Stonebank, he's just trying to take a camp, and he's going to get hit up by everybody. His reinforcements are not going to get there in time, and now Lukey, I mean, he had to try, but now he's the only one here, and the rest of the team will very wisely sacrifice him to King of Kings. But Stonebank, I mean, that last team fight, it was great. We were just talking about how long he survived. That's in the middle of a 5v5. If every single hero on King of Kings can hit you and you exclusively, you don't last nearly as long.
And, well, Yaren's drawing the line, saying, we got to get out. We need to go for the split push now because, well, they're doing this and crazy blink, but hey, it works, and it gives enough vision for Benny. Yeah.
Oh, look at this hand, not that hand, as they just jump right in. B9 doesn't see it coming, and now that clears the way. The high ground push is coming in. The glyph has to be deployed, but with Dunha already committing the Exo, they're not backing off. They're just going to wait this glyph out. The creep wave is sort of getting cut through, but they're still able to take the tower. Should get the melee racks here, yeah, pretty easily. So there's your breakthrough moment. This is a nice attempt from Yaren to get back and cut the creep wave, but the damage has already been done.
Look at this. They're baiting on the ward. They want to see if Ray's going to tempt fate and walk out towards the creep wave, but they will decide to fix their lanes instead. Very smart choice, but Stonebank really needs to be more synced up with his team. And okay, they do see that Benny is top, so they have to evacuate on King of Kings. They can get caught here, but I think Yaren is just barely too far ahead of his own teammates. I think he might get cleaned up.
Okay, they'll still find that kill, but over on the other side, Sarem, well, he will sort of pay the price for his team sticking around, but they traded him out for Yaren, and now, oh god, Mini actually wants to fight Lukey. That burrow goes really nowhere. He's blown up immediately. There's a silence down onto Ray Lalisa, but Stonebank going to be able to reset things here with that Stone Gaze. Ray Lalisa is going to pop the BKB and try to blink away. They're going to chase. And look at Hane. He's trying to maintain position, but he gets silenced first. That is a clutch use of the Orchid to keep himself alive. But Ray, he is still playing a very dangerous game. Snowball is going to come out onto him. He's able to blink out of it, but now the shards. At this point, though, Blink's on too low of a CD. They can't really go any further.
Yeah, and now with DogChamp retreating to the high ground, don't think we can see King of Kings really extend that far, especially with Exorcism on CD for 40 seconds, but hey, DogChamp, they need to be way more careful with their jumps here. They're giving up, I think, a little bit too much by being a little bit too careless. They're running in a little bit ahead of each other, and because of that, you're getting early spells used. They want to hold on to the Stone Gaze. They want to hold on to their BKBs really as long as humanly possible. But when you force pretty much a 5 or 10 second engagement to break out, well, you better be killing the target you jumped or just running away. And that's where, unfortunately, heroes like the Death Prophet and the DK, well, you've got that 400 health town at 20 and Mini, who's at 4,000 HP himself. these targets are getting bigger and bigger, not to mention Benny, with all of that stash resistance, they need to find a silence. I'm surprised, and I guess not all but surprised, but I would love to see another Orchid built up on any of DogChamp's members. They just don't have the best targets aside from Ray, but a silence really is the only answer here. But as soon as Ray blinks in, then he has to pop BKB, and then you're forced again into that very brief window where you can actually take the team fight.
Yeah, it just seems like there's such a small window, as you were sort of saying. And well, oh god, Benny, he's just gonna go straight onto Stone Bank. That is aggressive. That's gonna force out that Stone Gaze though, and Benny, he's gotta be a little careful, but he had the Enrage, should be able to get himself out of there just fine. But now DogChamp, they had to pull everybody back. King of Kings know exactly where their opponents are at the moment. Although, as I say that, Ray is trying to step out just a little bit, but gotta be so very careful on this Queen of Pain. If he gets picked off here, then King of Kings will feel pretty good about just going straight onto the high ground.
No, it's very scary, as well as King of Kings, they want to maintain this control over the outpost. They want to stay in this area. They know what's happening with Roche, but Fluky, he found Shrem. Big, oh no!
Whoa, boy, the snowball's gonna come in. The Sonic Wave whiffing, he didn't time it up right. And now Minnie's trying to get into the fight, but where's his teammate? Benny, he actually went for Bloody Nine first, did get that kill. Now they'll shift their focus. Lukey dropping low, not dead yet though, but they're fighting in the middle of the Exo. This is not going to go the way that they want it to. Lukey taken down, no buyback available on the Sand King. In fact, the Bane was the only one to have buyback, and he just now used it. So this is all that they've got left to fight with. Ray's got to find a way to get himself out of here, but Benny going to give chase, gets the bashes down as well, so there's no blink away. And now this may just be King of Kings' time to put this one to bed. They've got heroes dead for quite some time. Where are their creep waves, though? Bottom lane, way too far behind. Top lane, way too far behind. Middle lane, it just spawned. So actually, they're not really going to be able to do much of anything outside of maybe get another kill as Yarn gets taken down. But DogChamp bought themselves a lot of time for these respawns to take effect, but they are still very much on the defensive.
And Yarn, he's trying to make the hero play. He's trying to keep that backdoor online as really humanly possible, but now it's such a scary position to be in. Stonebank knows if he gets his Stone Gaze forced out of him as early as it has been, he's not going to be able to stand up. And without Glyph, and okay, they'll get Glyph up right now and they'll use it as soon as it comes up. They're trying to save the buybacks, and actually, they don't have buybacks. They don't want to use them, but at the very least, with Luki rezzing.
Ooh, Mini.
Okay.
B9.
I guess it just worked.
Taken down. Here comes the pushing as well. Hane just going in onto Luki. The snowball's going to be there. And, well, they do have to show some respect to the Stone Gaze, but that Stone Gaze forced out once it wears away. There's not a whole lot more the King of Kings have to be afraid of. And, yeah, here comes Mini going right back in. They've caught up the Dusa. Benny's in onto the fight. Hane's going to get the Walrus Punch down. And that's just a straight death for Stonebank. Medusa gone. Still 1,500 gold short of buyback, and at this point, DogChamp, I think they might just be out of time.
Yeah, and they're pinging it. They have X in 20 seconds. It's a little bit crazy to go for the GG here, but DogChamp can barely weave their own fountain, and Ray, he's just dead. Yeah.
They're farming the fountain now. They get one last kill onto Yaren, and, well, now they're free to, go after the win. The GG will be called. DogChamp will throw in that towel, and well, almost kind of fitting, right? A matchup where neither team had any upward mobility ends in a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I feel like this DogChamp is kind of what we're used to seeing, where they're a little bit too split off. It feels like they're not close enough to react appropriately to a lot of the aggression that's coming out, especially from a lot of these South American squads. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Ray run the gamut again, just kind of running around looking for Sonic Wave plays, but more often than not, getting reacted on by Mini with his Blink Dagger. That's why they picked the DK, just having that Dragon Tail. And I'm just sad we never got to see that same DogChamp in Game 1. And, well, Yaren's still here. Yaren's still trying to split the waves, play his almost carry style of 4, where you get a little bit more farm than anyone else, but it just really didn't end up mattering. And I think Stonebank really struggled yet again on the Dusa here, just continuously got kited, and you only really have a few abilities, a few items to work with, but it's not how many you have. It's usually comes down to how you use them. And I feel like King of Kings proposed such a great threat that too many times the decision was impossible to make, so they were just getting everything they wanted forced out of him. And then, well, you don't have Stone Gaze, you don't have Manta, you don't have any items, and then they just come after you endlessly.
Yeah, just free to do really anything that they wanted in a lot of those fights. And it's really great, ET. You look at the scoreboard, Mini managed to go 5-3 and 27 without purchasing a single item. Look at that. There's nothing in here. It's just a blank line. Mini hating on people who like to follow stats, I suppose, because the match is going to say that he didn't have items at the end of the game, but, that's a problem for the stats nerds. We know what went down. King of Kings get the win, Mini a large part of that, so the DK pick working out, we were maybe slightly skeptical when we saw it picked up in the draft, but everything comes up King of Kings. They get one last point on the board, and as we said before, it doesn't really do much for them in terms of positioning, but you go into, the next phase of this event without suffering a 0-2 defeat to DogChamp, which might have had a bit of a hit on their overall level of confidence if it had happened.
Yeah, and really, as we have the final day tomorrow, kind of see the button of games end up, and really now DogChamp, looking forward to their series versus Lava. That's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun to see. I'm just sad DogChamp aren't picking any of the new heroes. They're still just picking the same old shit.
Yeah, they're staying pretty conventional here, but hey, maybe against Lava they'll bust out something that we haven't seen yet. But for now, we do say goodbye to both of these teams as we are going to be moving on. We get back into the high-stakes stuff as we're going to be moving into a matchup between Thunder Awaken and Wildcard Gaming. So that situation at the top of the standings has still yet to be resolved. We'll see if there's a little bit more clarity after this upcoming best of two. So we'll step away for a moment, but be back for the start of game number 1 between Thunder Awaken and Wildcard. So we will see you in just a little bit.